Hello and welcome to Supreme Commander Forged Alliance. This will be a cast on Crimson's feud between my good friend Silence, the Blue Cybran, and Tixi or Tihi, I don't know pronunciation, but I will stick to Tixi. Also Cybran top, and Crimson feud is not a typical 5x5 map, but the playstyle is kinda similar, just have a lot of mass, because it's actually a 2v2 map, one expansion, one player here, one player here, so you have quite some mass in a 1v1, and also expansions here and here, and 2 plateaus. Those plateaus are very nice to take, because if you have an AA turret up there, it's pretty hard for the opponent to grab the island from you. So it's nice to have them. It's if you have both expansion like this one with 4 mechs in total. I will just slow it down a bit at the start so I can talk a bit more about the map and the meta. So it's a map with a lot of reclaim, some stones all around here, 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 also here and here, and also some wreckages. In the both expansion there are T2 tanks, they're worth around 1k mass, maybe a bit less. And in the middle is also some reclaim, but there are only T1 tanks, so the amount is not as big as on the expansions. So you can go with your ACU basically in three directions. You can go to the top expansion, that's actually the meta, or one of the metas. Then you secure the top expansion with your ACU, or you can go to the bottom expansion from Silence point of view. But this one is further away, as you can see here. This is closer, and you will most likely meet the enemy ACU on this expansion. So there is a risk you don't use your ACU to secure an expansion, and then you can also use the other one if you have there a fewer number of tanks. So it's a bit risky to go with your expansion, with your ACU to the expansion which is further away. Another thing you can do is to go with your ACU through the middle and straight pressure the opponent's main base. This can be quite successful if your opponent went to an expansion and you are straight going into his main base with your ACU and your spam. But it's also risky to do that, well, because your ACU is much closer to the production of your opponent. So it can happen quite fast that your ACU has no tank support, and then you'll die pretty quick. So you have to be careful if you're doing that. Yeah, it's also the meta that one NG is going to an expansion to grab some reclaim to boost your early build. The builds on Crimson are very important because the amount of reclaim in your base and the amount of nexus, you can make some really strong builds with NGs assisting the ACU for an extra build power. And I guess the choice on this map would be for a heavy land style. So you can delay your air factory to the 4th, 5th or even 6th factory. now we'll take a look how our players are doing. And yeah, we see here a second air build from Silent. As I said already, I don't think this is a good idea. Because the map is so small, you can get AA in all important places quite fast, at least in your main base. And since you're having so much maxes and reclaim in your main base, you can delay your expansion to the side if your opponent has the air and wants to raid your expanding NGs with bombers. So the land choice here for Tixi is, in my opinion, the better one. And as you can see, he will go for 4 land and then air. So he will have a tank advantage over Silent. And the tank advantage might not pay off so fast as a bomber from a second air factory, but well, you have more tanks, so it's always better to have more tanks. Well, this sounds a bit easy, but yeah, that's how it works. Okay, yeah, lab stuck behind an NG. You have to micro that so it's not happening, because the lab could already be further forward and maybe catch an unprotected engineer. And we have another lab here. I guess he will go to this side and maybe catch an NG which is going this way. I think I can speed it up a little bit since I talked about all web relevant stuff I wanted to point out. Yeah, one NG going to the middle here for Tixi. I don't agree to that move, because the amount of mass in those T1 tanks isn't as big as in those side racks of the T2 tanks. And also they are more spread out, so the reclaim rate for the NG is lower, because you have to walk and then reclaim and then walk again and reclaim again. So it takes more time to reclaim this mass than to reclaim this mass. As you can see, the build for Tixi is better. He has already his 4th land factory up, while Silent's 2nd is just done now. So he will have more tanks, and I hope he will get them to good use. Yeah, the lab here with a scout, it would have been more successful, I guess. Yeah, that's another point you should always, or well, you should, but it's not. But you don't have to do it all of the time to assist your lab with a land scout. It just gives you more intel and you can react better. But it worked here, and this NG here was actually very important because it was on the way to the expansion to grab the reclaim here. Yeah, and there's the next one on the way, but I think he could use them better in his main base to build factories if the NG down here was still alive. And yeah, he died because of the micro, because the matches were behind the NG, so a bit unfortunate here. The bomber, oh, I missed his first drop, but yeah, the NG is still alive, so he missed drop. And even in case this NG died, it wouldn't have been too bad, because 3 of the 4 mechs were done. And that's actually the main thing. 1 max in the Hydro isn't too much of a deal if you get them a bit later. Especially if your air was so late. So, and he's not even storing power, his power balance is good. Yeah, the raiding on the top was very good for Tixi. He catched an Engie which was unprotected. I guess these two Mantis down here should have been up here to protect the expansion, to protect the expanding Engie, instead of down here, because securing one of your own expansions is more important in the first place than denying one of your opponents. And he knows that the Engie here was dead, so there was no need to send these two tanks here to the right side. They would have been better on the top side. Yeah, now the bomber finally got some kills. I think it was one Engie here and probably one here. It's nice to delay the factories of your opponent by killing off his build power, but I think the trade-off for the fewer tanks, the bomber isn't worth it. As we see, the tank numbers here are far larger for Tixi. Yeah, another bomb drop, but yeah, the AA is close to be built, so this bomber won't be dead or won't do too much in this space. He could still go with the bomber here to this side and to delay the Hydro even more and kill off some more build power. So his opponent gets even fewer factories in the next minutes. On the other hand, Silent has to spam his factories up now, because he is behind and he saw that. And he's doing that with 3 Engies here, one here and one building the Hydro. He should focus on one building and then the other, because half-built Hydro and a half-built factory won't do anything. And as we can see, he's power stalling, so the Hydro would have been the better building to focus on first before the factories, because building factories is very power intensive and he really needs them up fast. He could also stop his air production for now, to get his factories up faster. Okay, the ACU is going to the middle. I don't agree to this too much, because he saw he was being behind in factories. Then he can just build a factory with his ACU also like here or here to max to get the same amount of production and to catch up. As you can see, those 3 tanks here, they should move in here now to attack the main base and put up some pressure. And those all also can go here and here and raid this to maxes, and all also raid this max if it would have been up. So the situation for Tixi looks actually pretty good, because the bomber weren't too harmful. The 3 dead pigeons and I think 2 Engies or 3 Engies weren't much of a big deal. Okay, let's speed it up again. Stands up to 5 land factories, and is ahead now because the 2 N and Engies here were killed by the bomber, and he has to rebuild them to build more factories. But for all the time he had those 4 factories up, so his tank amount is pretty high compared to Silence, but he has to use it. Those tanks are here and standing if they want too much. And yeah, since the ACU is going to the top here, those tanks actually are in a pretty bad position because they will just die against the ACU. The ACU of Tixi is going to the bottom side, also a good move to secure the expansion, but with the NGs there, I think he could also straight go to the middle. Yeah, but with the Mantis incoming there, well, it's good his ACUs on the way, but yeah, he could also just build the PD first and then the Maxes to secure this expansion. Then we're having here an air block. You should always do that if your opponent has no air, because you force your opponent to build an AA, and then you can go wagon with your inties, and your opponent wasted some mass in the AA. Yeah, those tanks here are pretty much worthless for right now. You should move them to the middle and attack there, because he can't do anything against this ACU. Let's look at the claim numbers. Silent has 1.8, 1.9k reclaim, and has still quite some in base left. Would like to see him reclaim more. Also here, those stones, this stone, this stone, this stone. Tixi already has more reclaim, but a fundamental power stall. I actually don't know why he's so much power stalling. I guess he just needs more power. One thing you can do is to rebuild on the wrecks here, because obviously they will be already halfway done, so you get your pigeons up faster. Overall, I would like to see one making a play for the plateaus, but we don't see it for now. Oh, there's a transport queued up, so I think Tixi will go for it soon. Yeah, the ACU now getting some free kills for Silent. That's always nice. Also, it already has 11 kills. It's not bad, while Tixi's only on 1. Yeah, the AA is up, and static AA in the main base is actually most of the time a waste of mass. But it killed 3 inties, now 4 inties, because the attention was elsewhere for Tixi. So I think it paid off. So I think the middle will be the most important part of the map for the near future, because there is already a quite big amount of reclaim, and the NGs are here and ready for reclaiming for Silent, which is a very nice move, and you want always NGs at the front to reclaim. Sadly, that's not the case for Tixi as far as I'm seeing. And he also has reclaim left, but not so much as Silent in his main base. Yeah, there's also a transport out for Silent, so maybe we will see a fight for the plateaus. And the ACU of Tixi is going to the middle now, which is a good move, because there's a whole bunch of reclaim to fight for. And yeah, there are 2 T1 PDs, and the ACU can't push here without an RT support. I think 3 PDs here are the overkill. One is enough. One is more than enough. Yeah, the bottom expansion is taken by Tixi. The upper one by Silent, 2 NGs. But I think, yeah, the other NG will be dropped there. Let's see if Silent pays attention and reclaims Tixi's NG. And if he wants to make a move to get the bottom plateau too. Yeah, the ASU of Silent here also going to the middle, because those PD there and 4 factories, there's no way the ASU can push there without tank support. But at the moment it's looking not too good for Silent, since he will lose the top expansion and has overall less tanks, I think. Tixi has 80 tanks. Silent has, well, a bit more than the half. Don't know if it's quite like that, but you know what I mean. I think it is still caused... Oh, he has a shitload of factories. I think he is more than Silent. But Silent is on T2. Ah, I have to slow it down, I'm missing stuff. He is on T2, and those T2 will do a good job against the Mantis, the pure Mantis ban 1 Medusa or 3 Medusa. If the armies are very large, like in this case now, you want some parties in the mix, because the splash of them can really do some great work. And also they are the counter to PD, which we see here, and here. So for both players playing a lot with PDs. So you should react in your play style and add an RT in if you see that your opponent favors PD in a lot of locations. But yeah, back to the T2 land. T2 land is a good choice against spam if you can afford to get it. The price was increased in the build time with the latest patch. Then you're basically having 2 options for Cybran and UEF. You can go for tanks, the Rhino, it's all fine with that. Or especially on those small maps, you can also go for range bots, because you have the spare APM to micro them effectively, and then there will be a pretty pain in the ass of your opponent, especially if you combine them with the mobile stealth field. Okay, but in the middle, Silent seems to have a bit of trouble. At least the tank numbers are far lower for him, and his positioning of tanks is too far behind his ACU. But the ACU of Tixi isn't in range of his ACU, so it's still okay, and his Mantis are in a line and split up, so he can't be blocked for now. So I think his position is fine, but it can be critical pretty fast. Okay, yeah, an attempt to take the plateau here, but yeah, the dropping is beyond the mountain, and that's a problem because those plateaus are so small. So transports aren't able to... Oh, what? I miss a word. Whatever. It's hard for them to drop the load. Oh my god. The tanks and the NGs on the plateau, not on the bottom. So let's look at the kill counts for the ACUs. 36 for Silent, close to second wet. It's actually a pretty good number. It's only on 14, so the use of the ACU for Silent has been far better. Yes. Oh yeah, there's the T2 for Tixi. Did he saw T2 of Silent? Yes, he saw that the factory was upgrading there. Scouting information is fine, he knows all maxes, so he can see if Silent is going for T2 maxes. And he saw the T2 factory, so it's all fine with the scouting information here. But he should also scout some more, I haven't seen him scouting in quite some time. Let's look at the scout information for Silent.
Commander
Well,
under
he
attack.
sees the base maxes, but not much else. So he should also scout a bit more frequently. And yeah, he's also no clue about the factory here, which is going to T2 land. It's already good to know when your opponent is going to T2 land and with how much assist on it. Okay, since Tixi is behind in the T2 land game, he should mix in more Medusa. Because with their stun they're countering T2 tanks quite well if they are in small numbers. So I would switch now to a 1-to-1 tank and RT mix until my T2 comes out. And then stop my T1 tank production and go straight only to a mix of T2 tanks, RT and land scouts. And yes, Silent should do that, but at no upgrading, no factories upgrading to T2 support factories. And not a whole bunch of assists on the T2 HQ. Overall the engine numbers are a bit low in the main base. The split is good, with the reclaiming at the front and rebuilding the maxes. But yeah, you need some more engines in the main base to assist your upgrades a bit better. Also going for T2 maxes if you can afford it. Let's see, yeah, kinda. You get some reclaim here, some reclaim here. So you can go for that, but it's a risk you take. You could also just go for more units. It's also a possibility on 5 kilometers maps. I don't agree to this. He's adding more land factories for T1 spam, but he already is on T2. So it would be better if he just increases his production on his T2 land than on his T1 land, because T2 land is more mass efficient. So I think I told everything.
Commander under attack.
Say right now. So let's speed it up. Skirmish in mid. The tank positioning for Tixi is not too good. It's a stream. So the ACU can defend it with some smaller support, also some T2 tanks. 52 kills. Very nice. Tixi on 17. So the ACU use for Silent is so much better. So much more cost effective. Yeah, and the T2 at the top will kill all those Mantis. No problem there. So he will be able to retake the island here. But the plateau is lost. That's a bit unfortunate. But he should be able to retake it against only one Mantis. Tixi is also adding more T1 land factories, although he went for T2. I think this is actually a bigger mistake than most people think. And he's still spamming a huge amount of Mantis and too few amount of Medusa. Yeah, in the hands of Tixi. make a play for bombers now. Especially against spam, bombers are very effective. Their splash. Oh yeah, the lack of land scouts here. So he won't see the PD until it's too late. And yeah, he will lose his T2 tank.
Commander
And that's
under
very
attack.
unfortunate. One thing you should do is to always scout before you attack. It's hard to do, but it's very important. So you see if there are PDs or not, or if there are some enemy tanks to defend or not. And yeah, the air factory is idle. Yeah, that's the reason he has no scouts, and that's the reason he has no clue about this PD here. Also, you can expect here to be a PD. That's actually a standard move to secure your flank with a PD. Still a huge advantage for Silent. Let's look at the reclaim numbers. Silent with 9.5k. That's probably the reason he's still in this game, because he has no expansion and no plateau. So his income is smaller than Tixie's. But I guess Tixie has less reclaim. He has
Commander
4k
under
less reclaim.
attack.
And overall 4k less mass. That's interesting. So Silent has just more mass by more reclaim, I guess. And that's the reason he is still in this game. And you can see a pretty big mass stall for Tixie. That's because he isn't reclaiming well enough. And he should stop some of his T1 production. If you're stalling so hardcore, no he isn't. But if you're stalling so hard, you should stop some of your factories, because it's better to have a fewer amount of factories which you can fully support than a big amount you can't support with mass. Should be yeah, it should be quite obvious. And I still see no further switch to T2 land, and also no significant amount of Medusa in the mix. And he has air, so he should do some bomber spamming, or maybe a snipe of the ASU with some jesters or beetle snipe or whatever. His position is not too healthy, but he has T2 tanks in the PD in place, so his position is fine, and he also has some more wet to go and can overcharge. Another T2 max, I missed it. Oh man, I'm missing so much, and it's only a 5 whatever. So the advantage for Silent is now actually pretty high. Here, as an expansion and 2 T2 maxes, this is a free expansion, because yeah, if you upgrade a T1 max to T2, it gives plus 6 mass. That's 4 more mass than a T2 maxes, so 4 T2 maxes were 3 T1 maxes, and so he's having a free expansion with these T2 maxes. Some RT raiding here against PD is always nice, you can do that. And yeah, the ASU up to 88 kills. I think Pixie wants to end this game, but well, he lacks tanks because his waypoints are here and not at the front. It's a displacement of waypoints. And this raiding here at the top could have been done with less tanks, so he can focus more in the middle. Also, there's a huge reclaim field to take for Tixi if he's still stalling maps. Yes, and yeah, there's so much here. You can see there's reclaim in there, but this is far easier to take for Tixi than the mid one. Yeah, the attack move from the factory should be a bit behind here, so you can abuse the factory reclaim attack move range. It's actually a pretty interesting word. So your engines won't get killed by tanks or RT while reclaiming. Some RT raiding here. The go-to target would be the build power or the energy storage. And overall, yes, the reason that Tixi is losing here, because the reason he is losing is that he isn't reclaiming enough. Didn't reclaim here, as I said. It's very important for him, and since he hasn't this expansion anymore, he will stalling even harder and have even less tanks, and so he will lose more map control, more expansions and more reclaim until he's dead. One possibility now could be to go for a snipe. For that you can reclaim some of your victories to get more mass, which you should also do if you're going up to T2. You reclaim some of your factories for T1 spam and put the mass into T2 tanks or T2 factories. But it seems that both players want T1 spam with 1 or 2 T2 tanks mixed in, instead of a whole T2 tank army with Medusa, which would be a very powerful combination. Yes, we can see now the kill to die ratio for Silent is a bit above the one of Tixi now, but it's not too significant. But in the earlier stages of the game it was vice versa, and with a more extreme advantage for Tixi. So let's speed it up, I guess it won't happen too much anymore. Yeah, really taking the expansion on the Silent side. Maybe he's suicidal now. No, he's going back, but it's still a bit risky. PD down here is very nicely placed. Yeah, the stream of the units, that was the problem. The movement, if you aren't able to block the ACU, it's hard to catch it like this and get a draw, maybe. Yeah, attack on the side here, I hope he will, he is already dead. Yeah, the go-to strategy for Silent now would be to hold the map until here or so, and then just hold there, build up more army, and then finish it, because the move here is actually quite bad. He will lose tanks against the reinforcements of his opponents without much of value. So hold back and then attack with a bigger force which your opponent can kill. Do we see beetles or something to snipe? No, no air snipe. The air game has been quiet for most of the game, except for the start with the bombers. But okay, the priorities for our two players have been a bit different than my opinion about it. Now there's a T2 assist slave factory, but I would like to see more in some of these spent factories reclaimed. Yeah, I don't like this actually. Hold back and then attack with a huge force your opponent can kill. Especially the ACU move here can be suicidal. Especially I don't know why he's moving up here. Oh yeah, he's moving. But yeah, the terror. Overall, although he is on 5 vet, Cybran only gains 1k HP for each vet, so even on 5k your ACU isn't really tanky. Although the region is nice, but some more HP would be better. And he can't vet, because he is already on vet 5. So it can die quite fast if his opponent would have some more tanks. No, aber now we see a Ghetto gunship on T1. It's a nice move, but it should have been done when he still had air. So maybe before 5 minutes or so, this would have been a good move. There are also beetles building, but there are a lot of tanks, so I doubt they will get through. But yeah, the ACU now should go back to be safe. Okay, I guess we'll speed it up. Now the question, Tixi lost because he didn't use his build advantage too much. He was wasting quite some tanks against the ACU up here, and he didn't attack the main base with waiting tanks he had here for a while. But I think the main thing was the lack of reclaim and the stalling of mass, and yeah, if you have less mass, then you lose in spam fights like this. I think that's the main reason, the lack of reclaim. And as you can see now, the total mass advantage for Silent is 20k now. It's pretty huge. He also made a 30 to mass extractor. Yes, the power of reclaim shown on another example. Well, I think that's it for now, so see you in the next one.